So I'd like to call the May 18th, 2021 meeting of the East Long Meadow Planning Board to order. Those in attendance are Pete Punderson, Tide Richards, George Kingston, myself, Russell Denver, Bethany Yao, who is the Director of Planning and Community Development, and Rebecca Jones, who is also with the Office of Planning and Community Development. So sometimes I throw in economic development, my mistake. So I am required by Mass General Law to point out that this meeting is being recorded by LCAT. And if there is anyone in the audience who might be recording the meeting, would you please press the raise hand on the bottom of the screen so you can be brought into the meeting and let us know who you are and how you are recording this meeting. Not seeing anyone. First item of business will be the approval of the May 4th, 2021 meeting minutes. Hopefully everyone's had an opportunity to review them. And if so, do I have a motion to accept?
So moved, George.
Second.
A motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Richards?
Yes.
Mr. Kingston?
Yes.
Mr. Punderson?
Aye.
And I'm a yes as well, so that passes. Mr. Richards, first item, please.
We have site plan waivers, SPRW 2021-19, request for site plan review waiver for a home office for an equipment financing broker business at 12 Townview Circle, Assessor's Parcel ID 4-93-9 on 0.55 plus or minus acre site in a residential B zoning district. The applicant is Felix Tranzese, 12 Townview Circle, East Long Meadow, Mass.
I see Mr. Tranzese. Can you please hit the video button? And you are also muted at this time.
On the lower left of your screen.
Okay, can you hear me now in the video button?
Here we are.
Hey,
All
hi,
right.
how are you? Good to see
Good,
you.
yourself?
Maybe you can fix your screen. There you go. Okay.
Yeah,
Thanks.
I'll sit up.
Thank you. So
Okay,
just tell us a little bit about the business and what it's going to be doing, and just so we can get a little feel for it.
financing heavy equipment. I'm taking the deals from contractors, from buyers, from end users, and forwarded it to Balboa Capital Finance Company in California.
Okay.
So I'm just acting as a broker and forwarding everything.
All right. So obviously no commercial vehicles part of this, no one going to the home.
Nothing, everything's online.
Okay.
Great.
Does the board have any questions of Mr. Tranzese? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver?
So moved.
Second.
So a motion made and seconded. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. So that item passes. Thank you, Mr. Tranzese.
I have a question for Felix.
Yes,
Did your
sir.
boy- Did your boy tell you I said hi?
He
If
did.
not, we're going to have to say something to him.
He did, Peter. Thank you.
Okay, buddy.
All right.
All right. Thank you. Next item, Mr. Richards.
SPRW 2021-20, request for site plan review waiver for a home office for an online personal training business at 104 Maple Street, Assessor's Parcel ID 16-129-2 on a 0.32 plus or minus acre site in the residential C zoning district. The applicant is Jessica Tolumas, 104 Maple Street, East Long Meadow, Mass.
Hi. Can you guys hear me?
I can hear you, but we can't see you. So the video button would be on the lower left of the screen.
Let's see. Oh boy.
To start video.
Yeah, when I click it, it's not letting me.
All right, so tell us about the business, what you're planning on doing there, what type of activity will be there, that type of thing.
So it's an online business only, so I'm going to be developing a website and I'll have programs available. So no one is coming to my house and I'm not going to their house. They're going to be working out with their own equipment, but I'm going to be educating them on different programs personalized for them. Eventually down the road, I do kind of want to develop my own app, but this is just kind of getting started here.
Deliveries to your home for any products or supplies?
Nope.
Okay. Do members of the board have any questions?
Nope, sounds like a good at-home office business.
Do I have a motion to approve the site plan waiver?
I'll move that.
Do I have a second?
Second.
So a motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the item?
No.
Hearing none, by roll call. Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Best of luck to you.
Thank you.
The item passes. Thank you. Mr. Richards,
Okay, we have a public hearing, case site 2021-3, 165-167, Benton Drive. Request for site plan review for the installation of a 100-foot by 150-foot plus or minus fence at 165-167 Benton Drive, Assessor's Parcel ID 8-5-16D on a 2.39 plus or minus acre site located in the Industrial Garden Zoning District. The applicant is William Mayberry, 20 Denslow Road, East Long Meadow, Mass.
hi, Mr. Mayberry.
Hi, how are you this evening?
I'm well, thanks. So Bethany, can you just fill us a little bit in on this before we get started?
Sure. So there was a company in violation. They weren't screening products. So the fence will go in as a screen for those products.
So as a corrective nature?
Right.
Okay. All right. Do you want to add anything, Will?
Nope.
So can you tell me the type of fence that's going to be used?
Yeah, it's gonna be a wooden fence. It's got a metal edging on it.
Okay. All right. Questions from the board?
No.
And because it is a public hearing, we have to open to the public. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this item? Don, do we have anybody?
No, nobody's there.
All right, so I'll make can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
I'll second.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none, by roll call, Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Kingston,
Yes.
Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Okay, so as to the main motion to approve the site plan, do I, any other discussion or questions of the petitioner? Hearing none, do I have a motion to approve the special permit?
Site plan.
No, it's a special permit.
It's a special permit? Okay. So moved.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion? Hearing none, by roll call, Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you, Will.
Thank you all very much.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Next item, Mr. Richards.
Okay, case ZN 2021-2, cottage food operations exemption. For the purpose of the amending and clarifying the Town of East Long Meadow zoning bylaws by adding under schedule of use section 3.090, accessory uses, a new item, cottage food operation exemption. The petitioner is East Long Meadow Planning Board.
So Bethany, I'll let you lead off the information on this.
Sure. So I took George's suggestion and used some of the language from Wilbraham's bylaw and inserted it into the table, our table. Don, is it possible to share my screen? I think that might be easiest.
Yep. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you see my screen here?
Not yet.
Not yet. Says you've started, but I don't see it.
I just have a black screen that says
Uh,
Bethany has started sharing.
sharing, it says sharing is paused.
So let me try that. Could maybe, well, try turning it off and turn it on again? No, I meant me.
Oh,
Let me stop. And now I'll give you access again and see if that changes anything. Yep.
There you go.
okay. So this is basically what the full text would look like. It's just popping in here. It will say home office, studio, or cottage industry. And then it references I'll just read it into the record. A cottage food operation is allowed as a home occupation subject to all the conditions listed herein under this section 3.090, provided the resident operator is issued and maintains a valid residential kitchen permit from the East Long Meadow Board of Health and complies with the requirements imposed by the Massachusetts Department of Public Health regulations at 105 CMR 590. So bare bones, Marilyn Richards had read over the language and she suggested adding in a definition. I think the state probably defines what a cottage food operation is, so I'm not sure if you also want to reference it in our zoning bylaw or simply reference the state's regulations for that.
So is cottage industry defined under the 105 CMR 590?
I believe so, yes. I can double check though.
I'd like you to do that.
I would recommend that we just reference the state, because otherwise, if they change the definition,
True.
we have to go back in and change the bylaw.
I agree, but I would like to know whether CMR she cited defines cottage.
So they also go by retail residential kitchens, but under that 105 CMR 590, they're permitted as cottage food operations.
So where does the cottage food operation end, so to speak? When somebody wants to grow, what happens? What are the parameters of it? Do you know, Bethany?
That I'm not sure about. I know they have limitations on what they can sell based on like baked goods. There's certain baked goods that they can't sell because there could be more complications. I think like custards, stuff that would use like raw eggs.
Okay.
And that sort of thing, but it's mostly regulated by the health department and the Board of Health.
Okay, so a kitchen permit's got to have some sort of definition to it then. You know, the parameters, the kitchen permit is for X and not X and Y. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So it doesn't get into a catering type of thing or something like that doesn't happen.
Right. Well, I think the other home office restrictions would take care of those concerns.
Okay.
Not having any clients at the house, not having too much storage at the house.
How about employees? You can't do that either, right?
Right. I think it's only household. Can only be in the household, primary household.
Okay.
Other questions before I open it to the public hearing? So this does require a public hearing, correct, Bethany? So,
Yes.
so I'm going to open it, and if there's anyone in the audience who wishes to speak to this issue, please raise your hand and you can be brought into the meeting by Mr. Mackey.
And there is no one who so wishes?
Okay, hearing no one, do I have a motion to close the public hearing?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded to close the public hearing. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
and I'm a yes as well. Back to the main item. Any further discussion or questions?
Just
I
for the
just like-
record, I do have the definitions up. I can read them if you'd like.
Yes, please.
Please.
So cottage food operation means a person who produces cottage food products only in the home kitchen of that person's primary domestic residence and only for sale directly to the consumer. Then cottage food products means non-timed temperature control for safety baked goods, jams, jellies, and other non-timed temperature control for food safety foods produced at a cottage food operation.
And that's in the CMR that you referenced?
Yes.
Good.
All right.
And I'd just like to say that I favor this because it will bring operations like this under control of the health department. I don't know of any other operations that are operating this way now without a permit, but I wouldn't be surprised if they were. So this gives us an opportunity to bring these under control, make sure they're healthy and all that kind of thing.
Any other comments from the board?
That sounds good. Sure felt bad about not letting that woman have a permit based on, because of this. So this opens it up and makes things right.
Well, we gave her a temporary and
Yeah.
we're being expeditious about this. So, so I believe the motion is to approve the amendment to the zoning ordinance and referral to the town council.
Correct.
Do I have a motion as such?
So moved, George.
Do I have a second?
I'm waiting for Ty to second something.
I'll second that.
Okay. You'll second that you're waiting for Pete to have
I'll
you
second that also.
So a motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none by roll call. Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm a yes as well. Thank you for your work on that, Bethany. Appreciate it. Bethany and Rebecca, appreciate it.
Good job.
All right, next item, Mr. Richards.
Okay, case SP 2021-4 562 North Main Street. Request by applicant for special permit for change of ownership in existing restaurant at 562 North Main Street. Assesses parcel ID 2B-77-561 located in the business zoning district. The applicant is Friendly's Restaurant, LLC, 1938 North Woodlawn, Suite 110, Wichita, Kansas, 67209. This has been rescheduled to 6/8/21 due to legal advertising issues.
So there was a mistake in the legal advertisement, so it got moved to the next public hearing date.
Great. Next item, Mr. Richards.
Other business, request for a waiver of 6 tree plantings for definite subdivision, Jeffrey Lane Extension, a 3-lot subdivision on 3.5 plus or minus acre site at Jeffrey Lane. Assesses parcel ID 40-12 plus 13-32 plus 33 in a residential A zoning district. The petitioner is Jeffrey Bosworth, Southern New England Real Estate Development, Inc., 45 Knollwood Drive, East Long Meadow, Mass.
Hi, Mr. Bosworth. I see your name, but I don't hear you or see you.
I'm unmuted.
Okay. Can you put on the video?
Yep, should be coming. There I am.
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you. So tell us what your plans are with respect to this project.
Basically, this project is almost totally complete, and the original plan said 6 new plantings are using existing trees. Existing trees were left. However, the lots were sold, and prior to the lots being sold, I'd asked Tom Christensen to go out and check the site. He said he would go the following day. He didn't go for approximately 10 days to 2 weeks. In the meantime, the lots were sold, and the new homeowners or lot owners cut down the existing trees. One of the lots is still there and still has existing trees on it. And also where one of the trees was to be, was left, it was supposed to be there. That area was changed with the modification of the relocation of the underground infiltration system. So, and trees can't be planted above that because the depth is only about 3 feet below surface. So what I'm basically asking the planning board is to waive the existing or new tree planting for those 6 trees. There are trees that were existing along the Jeffrey Lane that the town owns already, and there's one right at the corner on the right side. There's 2 trees, and there's one on the corner on the left side, right at the property line. And there are trees on lot 3, which would be where one of the other trees would be located.
Questions for Mr. Bosworth?
I guess I'm a little concerned. These trees are supposed to be street trees, which means that they're in the town right away. Is that correct? Or are they on the lots themselves?
The trees are actually on the lots, on the lot themselves.
But they're not on the right of way.
No.
Because typically what we require in a subdivision is street trees, which are in the town right of way in front of the houses. You know, so I would be concerned if they were cutting down trees in the town right of way, or what's going to become the town right of way. I don't know how the rest of the board feels about it, about requiring the street trees, which is what the subdivision regs require.
I'd like to see the trees.
Well, basically, this is just a three lot subdivision, and you know, I had left trees. However, the people who bought the lots, 2 of the lots, removed the trees for construction purposes. So, I mean, I can't very well go tell them I'm going to go plant trees, and I don't know where they would want them or put them in a place that it's going to be in their way.
Any other questions before we open up the public? I believe this requires a public hearing, Bethany?
It's not advertised as a public hearing.
No, okay.
So usually it's a request from the board, and then it's up to the board how you'd like to proceed.
I don't personally see why we should change what's always been the manner of doing business with the trees in the public right of way. I mean, maybe they should be planted, they could be planted after the construction's done, but I don't see why we should permit the trees not to be planted. Is it a hardship of some sort?
Well, where 2 of the trees were supposed to be planted, you can't plant now because of the relocation of the underground infiltration system.
Right.
Because there's not enough depth for any roots to go in.
I understand.
Plus you've got riprap and hard gravel and infiltrators underground. There's no place for the roots.
I understand that. Is there a possibility of getting any trees in there somewhere along the line to maintain conformity?
Well, there again, I don't own 2 of the lots, so I don't know what, I don't feel I have a right just to go plant trees in somebody's yard where, you know, and I mean, the cellar holes have been dug and the foundations are in, but, you know, I have no idea where these people are gonna put driveways or whatever.
Well, the point is that they're not supposed to be on the lots. They're supposed to be in the right of way.
Right.
Okay. They're not actually supposed to be on the lots. Now, I would support not putting them in until construction is complete and you know
Right.
where the driveways are, that sort of thing.
Right.
Typically, like if you go down Peachtree Lane, you'll see that they're in between the sidewalk and the street, which is in the right of way,
But
not on the
there-
lots
there-
themselves.
But there is no sidewalk because I have a waiver for not putting a sidewalk going to nowhere.
Right, but the right of way is wider than the pavement. Okay, and so typically they go between the edge of the pavement and the start and the lot line. That's where they're supposed to go. So they're not going on the people's lots, they're in front of the people's lots. And I would support waiting until the driveways are in and the construction's done so the trees aren't damaged. But I still would like to see some trees in there.
I mean, basically, there's a tree on the entrance on the left side that's been existing that wasn't removed. And plus you've got going in around the cul-de-sac on the left side that goes 3/4 the way around. You've got the gas line, which is only 4 feet below the ground. And on the other side, you've got the electrical line, which goes up or on the right side, goes up and goes 3/4 the way around. So.
All right, let me ask you something. Are you saying that there's no way in the world you can plant 6 trees in the area between the property line and the curb, all the way around your whole subdivision?
It's only 3 lots around a cul-de-sac.
Well, it may be 3 lots, maybe 10 lots. Doesn't matter how many lots. Right now, we're talking 3 lots, 6 trees. It's not a big request. It's something that's you're obligated to do. And I'm trying to figure out if you're saying it's impossible to do this, or for some reason you don't want to do it.
Well, what is I'd have to see.
I mean, we're talking small dollars here, so it can't be a dollar item. I mean, I'm trying to figure out what the objection is.
Well, my dilemma is I don't own the property anymore.
Well, yeah, but we're not talking about the property you own. We're talking about the property from the curb line to the people that bought the lots from you. You know, whether it's 10 feet, 15 feet, I don't know how wide it is where we're talking about, but we're talking about an area that these people haven't bought.
We're talking about the area that you still own, which is the street and the right of way.
Right.
Well,
I'm just trying to figure out why we're having this conversation.
well, because the reason is because existing trees were left, and I had asked Tom Christensen to go out and when I was doing the request for lowering of the bond, and he mentioned the trees. I said, there are existing trees which I left. He said, I'll go out and check, because the original plan said existing trees or plant new trees. And he told me he was going out the next day. He did not do that. And he went out about 10 days to 2 weeks later. In the meantime, the lots had sold, and the new homeowners or new owners of the lots had tree service come in and take out the trees. So Tom.
But we still need trees, whether they were taken out or not. We still need trees.
I'd recommend that the final or release of the property, final approval of the property be based upon the proper treeing at that time. And by that time, you'll know where the driveways are and you can plant the trees. I mean, it's not the board's fault that somebody cut the trees down. It's not your fault either, but the plan requires treeing in the property owned by the town. So before final approval, I would say that there should be trees planted.
I would agree with that. And I think we're flexible on location, provided they're in the right of way. You know, I mean, if you show it on the plan one place, you got to move it 6 feet because there's a driveway there, that's fine. But the whole idea is to provide, you know, a landscaped subdivision that will look good for the owners, look good for people that go there. And, you know, if you've got 2 trees that were left, then we're talking 4 trees that need to be planted. I know what Graziano charges for trees. It's not huge. It's you know, because we're not asking you to put full-grown trees in. We're putting in saplings, basically, that are going to grow. And you're talking a few $100s. I mean, this is...
That's why it can't be a dollar thing. And we're talking a subdivision. We're only in 6 trees. And we're talking small dollars.
Do we have a
That's always
motion?
one of the obligations that was part of this plan.
So do we have a motion on the table? Someone want to put a motion up?
Well, we're a large swath where a couple of trees were going. It's impossible to plant trees there because of the underground infiltration system.
Right, so you can plant them someplace else instead. I mean, I'm perfectly open to that. Okay, but they got to be someplace.
Pete, were you making a motion?
I don't, I would have to deny his request for, you know, eliminating the planting of the trees. And I would say that they have to be planted, you know, before we give the final approval on the project. It's nobody's fault here in this meeting that the trees were cut down, but they were there and they should be replaced.
I'll make a motion.
I don't know what the motion is, but that's my thoughts.
I'll make a motion in the proper format to approve the request, okay? And if you vote in favor of that, you're approving
Right.
putting the trees in. If you vote against it, then you're requiring that the requirement still be met. Is that
We have
right,
a second.
Chairman?
I second that.
All right. Any further discussion? So again, just to make sure it's clear, so a vote in the affirmative would require, or would allow the petitioner to not plant those trees. To make it very simple. And a vote in the negative would require the trees be planted. Period. Is that
Period.
correct?
Right.
Yes.
All right. So by roll call, Mr. Punderson,
Nay.
Mr. Kingston,
Nay.
Mr. Richards,
No.
and I'll be a nay. So that fails. Thank you, Mr. Bosworth.
All right, thanks.
Next item, Mr. Richards.
Director's report.
So before we do the director's report, we have an announcement that I'm going to ask Mr. Richards to step to the floor to make.
Well, as many of you know, I've sold my home and I'll be unfortunately leaving the area, but time moves on. So these are things that we all do. And I've been on the planning board for over 8 years in the town of East Long Meadow, and I've really enjoyed being on the planning board and serving the town. And if I was going to continue to be a resident here, I would continue to stay on the board if the board would have me. But it's time for me to say so long, and I really appreciate serving with everybody. And I also appreciate all the support I've received over the years from the town manager and town council and everyone else in town government. So I'll be moving to Skaneateles, New York. And I've also been nominated to be on the planning board there in the village of Skaneateles, New York. So I'll be accepting that position once I've left East Long Meadow. I anticipate my last meeting in East Long Meadow to be the last planning board meeting in June. So thank you very much for everything.
So if there are people who might be interested in serving on the planning board, I would highly suggest that you reach out to Bethany. at the Office of Planning and Community Development, 525-5400, extension 7. If you want to get her directly, her extension is 1700, which I know quite well. There is a process that will be required, so we would encourage you to do so. It's my understanding that we're joined this evening by Town Councilor Marilyn Richards. Does Marilyn wish to be heard on an item?
While we're waiting, I might just comment that the position has not yet been advertised to my knowledge. Is that correct, Bethany?
I believe they did put out a position vacancy notice in the reminder on Thursday.
Oh, great, great. Okay.
I think they did a group one because we have some vacancies in a few other boards.
Okay, so it's been announced, it's probably on the website as well.
I believe so.
So Marilyn, you are, oh, hi, you're muted. You're muted. Hi.
It's been a tough evening. First of all, hi, congratulations. We'll miss you. You've been a good asset to the town, and you'll be great for Skaneateles.
I will miss all of you as well. If you're ever in the Finger Lakes area in Skaneateles, please give me a call.
I will be.
Love to see anyone that wants to stop by. Obviously, you, Marilyn, and anyone else.
Thank you. Thank you. I've been trying to get onto this meeting since 6 o'clock. I just had some real trouble tonight. And I know you've probably had your public hearing.
Yes.
Was there any discussion?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Can I ask what the outcome was?
So on which item?
The public hearing on the cottage food operations, I'm sorry.
So it was a favorable vote to recommend it to the town council.
Okay, okay. I had had a discussion or an email exchange with Bethany regarding the possibility of a definition of cottage food. I don't know if that came up.
It did.
Yes, it did.
And George, George, I don't want to take the word or put your words out of context, but I believe George felt that it would be more appropriate to keep the definition that is in the Code of Massachusetts regulations, so that if it did indeed change, we would not need to go back and amend the bylaws to, you know, to illustrate the change, the bylaws.
So would you reference that code in the bylaw?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That was the only thing. I looked around. I didn't find that, George. So I'm glad you were on top of it. That was the only
Bethany was on top of it.
Bethany had it. Yeah. Bethany had it.
Bethany. Anyway, that was the only thing that I wanted to bring up this evening. So thank you for acknowledging my raised hand, and I leave you all alone.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Night, Marilyn.
So I think we all want to heap praise on our friend Tide Richards. It has indeed been a real pleasure serving with you. I know that you have provided me personally with, you know, wonderful guidance and, you know, an ear to talk to, an ear to listen to some of my rantings and ravings as they might occur. But I greatly appreciate your support and efforts on behalf of the town.
Well, I love you all, and thank you very much.
And I'll be out to see you. We do our wine tour.
Yeah.
Also, Watkins Glen NASCAR, August first weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you would be okay if we like rented a bus and brought 40 people?
Oh, absolutely. I'd love to have you all. Got plenty of room right on the lake. It's a gorgeous place to be.
All
You got a
right.
place for a 38-foot motorhome?
We'll figure it out.
He's on the planning board now, you know, so.
We're problem solvers.
All right, Bethany, director's report.
Sure. So the really big item this week is our master plan implementation workshop. That's Thursday night. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. There's information under the agendas and minutes on the website, town's website. It's also on the town's main Facebook page, and you can also always reach out to me if you are having trouble finding the Zoom links for it. There's also a photo contest The winner of the photo contest will have the opportunity of having their photo put into the final master plan product. And there's also a survey bouncing around. So if you haven't had a chance to go through that, please let me know. I will send you the links. And if you are able to come on Thursday, we would love to see you.
So two things, Bethany. First, the survey. So I've had a number of people reach out to me,
Okay.
and they thought it was very well done.
Great.
The questions were good and appropriate length. So I want to give you credits for that. And on the link for Thursday, can you just do a separate email to the planning board members with that link? So it's
Sure.
easier
Yeah.
for some of us to find. Yeah.
Absolutely. And just so you know, we just went over the structure of how that meeting will go. In the first hour is kind of just going over what the master plan is, because what we found out from the survey responses is a lot of new people who hadn't been to the visioning session were responding to the survey. So we want to make sure that any new people who come on Thursday understand what the whole process looks like. So the first half is just general explanation, and the second half will be breakout groups discussion. So an hour of discussion with smaller groups. So just in case if you missed the first half, just so you know what you're walking into if you come for this second later half.
Any other business?
That's it for now.
Hearing none, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Aye.
I'll second that.
All right, motion made and second. Any discussion? Hearing none. Mr. Richards,
Yes.
Mr. Punderson,
Aye.
Mr. Kingston,
Aye.
and I'm an aye as well. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Have a good
Good
one.
night.
Bye.